Hi everyone, I'm Steve here again with Rob Greenwood. Rob is our personal training director in our Sparks Fitness for 10. So if you're in the area, stop by and say hi. Thanks for being with us, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, so we're going to talk about we're going to talk about nutrition and macros. So first, why don't you tell everybody what macros are and what you're talking about when you say macros?
Okay, yeah, your basic proteins, your carbohydrates, or sugar or a fat, and how you're going to calculate them through the day for your total calories counted versus food groups eaten.
Okay, so you're talking about protein, carbohydrates, and fats, right?
Correct.
Three macros. I guess you could throw alcohol in there, but we won't count that, right? So, um, a big question I get, and you probably get, because the reason we're bringing this up for everybody out there is this is a common question that Rob gets. What are macros and what should mine be? Well, if you guys watch the channel, you know I say everyone's different. You got to try something, you got to start somewhere, and then you got to fine tune it. And that can take some time. Everyone's different. You can listen to ideas that maybe I have or maybe Rob has, and then go from there. You got to adjust them. And just realizing that there's just no cookie cutter thing that just works perfect for everyone. So let me ask you, Rob, for you personally, first, what let's start with protein because I think that's the most important thing to start with. Uh, Tell us how much protein you eat in a day and why.
Okay, so for me myself, I'm always trying to shoot at least my body weight or higher. Me, I want to put on lean muscle still. So I know they say the 1 for 1 is pretty good for maintenance and leaves you room to possibly grow. So I'm always shooting for about 200 grams of protein for my weight to a little higher. Sometimes I'll set it up for 1.5, 2, one, just depending how serious I'm going and how clean my nutrition is.
Okay, so that means let's take someone like me and I'll compare it. I weigh 170. I shoot for 150 grams of protein, which is a lot. If you guys have tried this, you got to know what you're doing. If unless your calories are through the roof, if you're eating 6,000 calories, it's easy to get that much protein, but not if you're eating 2,000 calories. So I weigh 170. I'm pretty lean, especially for an old guy, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, looking good.
Okay, so I shoot for 150 grams of protein, but I also supplement a lot with essential amino acids. So I'm for sure getting the equivalent of 200 grams of protein when you throw in the supplementation with the essential amino acids. So we know your goals. Now, let me ask you this. Give me a typical client that you have. Give me a typical age, and first, give me a typical age and then what you would recommend as far as their protein.
I like to do the 40-40-20. And like you said, everything's kind of a base off that. I might scale it a little up or down depending age or male or female. I like to do the body weight for a female times 11 to 13 and then 40% protein there. For a male, between 13 and 15 times the body weight and about 40% protein there. That's typically how I find it for a base.
Okay, so then you said 40-40-20. I'm assuming, well, I won't assume, but I'll guess you're saying the next 40% is carbohydrates.
It's going to be up to you. If you like fat better or carbohydrates, I like
Okay.
one high, one low.
All right, I like that. And then that determines the calories, right?
Correct.
Very interesting. I like that. Pass this video on. Rob's pretty smart. So that's an interesting way to start. So let's say if it was me and I ate 150 grams of protein, got to get my calculator out. Um, I ate 100. If I eat 150 grams of protein, that's 150 times 4. I got 600 calories. And let's say that I'm going to go the same amount in carbohydrates. I'm at 1,200 calories, right? And now I would add, and that's also 150 grams of carbohydrates.
Correct.
So now I have 20%. So I got 120 times, my math might not be right, but
I usually do the total calories first. You started with the
oh, okay,
protein. What do you
okay,
shoot for your calorie
okay.
count a day?
Let's say 2,000 calories.
Okay, I
So
put you at 2210 for me. Like you said, it's a base, so I did times 15, I think. Your body weight times 15. And I would adjust from there.
okay, so now I can either choose. Now I'm basically choosing the rest in fats and carbohydrates, and it doesn't have to be 40-20. It could be 30-30.
Sure.
Okay, if you guys have questions, put them in the comment section so that we can get Rob's formula right for you. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm working backwards from my calories after I get my protein set. And my carbohydrates, which we'll go to next, the next macros, my carbohydrates are usually come in, my net carbohydrates usually come in under 100. That works best for me, my net. And sometimes they're lower than 50. So that's mine. So talk about carbohydrates as a macro and maybe how you might adjust the carbohydrates according to what your client's goal is.
For a lot of mine trying to build muscle, I'll have the carbohydrates high before and after the workout. For the energy, for the glycogen in the body and the recovery after. So I'll typically put, lower in the first and last meal if we got them doing 4, and a little bit higher in the pre-workout and post-workout.
And what age are we talking about? Does it vary depending on a person's age for you?
Yeah, I honestly kind of scale somebody out there, and I'll check every 2 weeks, and then kind of do it, watching the scale and pull it off from there. Um, if they tell me, hey, they're carb sensitive, they don't want to do this, they're not into doing it this way, I could scale it another way. But most of the people I see and cater to are trying to build muscle and kind of high performance weightlifters. Not high performance, I'm trying to say more free weights, lifting heavy weights.
Okay. All right. So now let's move to fat. Um, Essential fatty acids are really important. Tell us about that macro and how you coach someone with the types of fats that they eat.
I have them. I like fats moderate low, and I'll have them almost empty, close to empty pre and post workout, while the metabolism's the highest, so you could burn more body fat and use the carbs just for energy. I don't want to be fighting against both of them when we're doing the most work.
Right. So when would you have them eat fats? Maybe at dinner or
Yeah, so if we're going off 4 meals, I would have meal 1 with fats, meal 2 with fats, and then pre-workout, post-workout with zero to or low to zero fats.
okay, so it depends on when they work out.
Correct.
Right. Well, I love how you just kind of put that together and how you just modify it, and then you start from there. And I'm assuming some people are going to need really different changes, and you go from there. But the protein, you hear all kinds of things about protein. My opinion is err on the side of more protein. You hear a lot of people, oh, you don't need protein. It does this, it does that, and that's bad. I'm not in that camp. I'm a protein guy. So, any last thoughts, Rob?
No, I definitely think it's a staple because the more muscle you have, the more fat you burn. So, I mean, I think we're all trying to stay pretty moderate to lean as possible.
Right. And protein, breaks down into amino acids, and amino acids do just about everything in your body. They don't just build muscle, they make up enzymes, and they do almost everything in your body. So, Rob, thanks for being with us. If you guys want to find out more about Rob, just put a comment in there. He's in Sparks, Nevada at the Fitness for 10. Thanks for being with us, Rob.
Thanks for having me, Steve.